Come, gather round, class. I've built in self-repairing armor, nano-liquid circuitry, full-spectrum scanning, and a bunch of other big words.
What else does it do?
Well, lucky for you, I wrote you an instruction manual.
Yay! I'll look at this later.
Guys, the suit's freaking out.
Get it off.
I can't get it off.
What the hell does he need a grass for, Cisco?
He runs on water. It seemed like a smart idea at the time.
Barry, why do you think Iris wanted you two to see me today?
Well, we recently started working together.
You canceled training the other day without asking me.
Training?
Swimming.
Marathon.
It's a triathlon.
We're not on the same page. People could die, like if they crashed into a brick wall going 100 miles per hour. Metaphorically.
The weight of the whole city falls on my shoulders. I'm the Flash.
You are not the Flash, Barry. We are.
I trust you, Iris.
Then run, Barry. Run.
Hey, look, it's a Flash!
If I were you, I would start running.
I gotta go.
You're gonna write down that he ran out of here, aren't you?
Yes.
Hey everybody, we got a new Flash. Let's break this down. Danny Trejo is finally coming and he's going to kick the shit out of Cisco. It's going to be so funny. There's a new round of the Justice League ticket giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, and I'll announce a new winner at the end of this. So this is really like 2 clips that they released. They're doing a little bit better job of promoting the show this year. So at the beginning, you have all that stuff focusing on the tech that Cisco built into the new suit. They're going to use it for a little bit of comedy, but they also want to hype up how cool it is. It actually has a legit heads-up display. So the fact that Cisco's manual is that thick implies that there's a bunch of other stuff that he built into it. They might use that in future episodes. But a lot of you probably recognize this big, super fat Flash from the comic book. This very famous comic book cover where the Flash's mass is increased so he can barely run. It's just this funny comic book cover that doesn't totally make sense out of context. You're like, why is the Flash so fat now? Like, what happened to him? Did he eat too much? It's actually from The Flash, Volume 1, number 115, and the name of the story is The Day the Flash Weighed 1,000 Pounds. But because there's 2 stories in that comic book, the other one is an elongated man story. So the elongated man is going to be one of the characters that comes on the show this year. I don't think we're going to see him in episode 2, but you can see how a lot of the Easter eggs sort of tease at what's coming up on The Flash. But the thing about the comic book story is that it was actually Gorilla Grodd taking control of another person's mind called William Dawson, who constructed a device to increase the Flash's mass so that he would weigh 1,000 pounds and slow him down. So it was more of a story about Gorilla Grodd trying to hurt the Flash by controlling someone else, which we know the Thinker is doing as well. But we might also get more teasers for the blacksmith character, Amunet Black, who's also controlling other people in Central City, mostly the rogues. The main villain of the episode is somebody else who can control technology. He's like a technopath. So that goes back to the Thinker because those are some of his comic book abilities during the Jeff Johns run. But I think I've said it in videos before where a lot of the villains and the problems that Barry faces are sort of teeing up ideas that will be important later on when he fights the Thinker directly. There's a lot of cool moments with him just running around dismantling cars trying to save people. It looks like he goes a little bit nuts just because he's so happy to be out of the Speed Force. You see him partying at a bar, which seems kind of out of place, so maybe there's some big victory that he's celebrating. Like the Flash is back, everybody's really happy, so maybe he's just a little drunk on the attention. But let's talk about Danny Trejo here. So I don't know how big he's going to be in the back half of the season, but the thing that brings him on the show this time is because he and Gypsy have been going out in the background for the past 6 months or so while the show's been off the air. So now it's gotten to the point where she's like, okay, you need to meet my dad. So Danny Trejo shows up. In the comics, he has the same abilities as Cisco and Gypsy, so we'll see what his powers are like on the TV show. But I think that everybody kind of understands what's going on here. It's just like the really angry dad who's protective of his daughter, who's going to go after Cisco, who doesn't totally take things seriously until he sees how scary Gypsy's father is. If you were dating Danny Trejo's daughter and he looked at you like he's looking at Cisco right here, you would probably shit your pants too. We also see Earth 2 Harrison Wells, who's coming back and looks like he's explaining something to Wally. This is probably him telling him what's going on with Jesse Quick, and I think there might be some sort of breakup situation to explain why she's not going to be on the show the first half of the season, or if she is, it's going to be very briefly. as far as I know, the actress who plays Jesse Quick has not been seen on set, so I don't know when she's going to come back, but she will come back eventually. The thing about Harrison Wells this season, they said, is that because Jesse's pretty much got everything on lockdown, he needs to find something to do with himself. Because they've solved all their problems on Earth 2, I think that's why he comes back to Star Labs. But they did say that his story will get tied up in the Thinker, so we'll just have to see, what it is that's going on with him specifically. This mummy looks a little bit out of place, so we'll have to see if there's some weird explanation for this, like if it's a legit mummy, or if it has something to do with the villain of the episode and it's like an animatronic dummy, and the villain is controlling the technology inside of it. But that's part of the reason why I love The Flash, is because they do a lot of hard science fiction stuff, but you could also do a zombie story too, and it would still feel like comic book Flash. So as far as the therapy stuff goes, I don't know how much they're using this for comedy and whether or not it'll turn into more of a Sopranos therapy thing, but because of the lighter tone of the season, I'm expecting them to just use it to deal with Iris's new position and how Barry integrates her into the team. Because while he was away, they sort of had their new Team Flash, and now that he's back and crazy overpowered, he's just trying to do everything by himself, which will of course end in disaster. That kind of feels like something the Thinker would really enjoy, the Flash being all by himself. Usually the character's strengths on all these TV shows are their teams, so things go off the rails when they go rogue and try to do things by themselves. But everybody, let me know what you think about the first couple of episodes. There are a couple of big things from episode 1 that I might do bonus videos for this weekend. Like the Thinker's symbols on his face look a lot like the symbols that Barry is drawing after he came out of the Speed Force, so there's probably a connection there. They're also the same symbols on that thug that's working for the blacksmith too. So mystery code, everything is connected. There's a conspiracy in the background, so we could talk about that this weekend. But because there's so much superhero stuff, I do have a Legends of Tomorrow episode 1 video coming, but I have a Thor Warbound clip that I'll probably post next just because there's been so much DC content for the last day or so. There won't be quite as much Flash next week. I did a couple extra videos because it's the premiere. So as long as you have alerts enabled, you should get all the videos. YouTube broke a little bit last night, but I think it's fine now. Congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, George Keith. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. I'll name a new winner when I post that Legends of Tomorrow video later tonight. While you wait for everything, you can click here for my Flash Episode 1 Easter egg video, and you can click here to watch that final Flash versus Thinker scene again. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.